Hello and welcome to the Formula Drivers Challenge, round number 5 live on Apex Racing TV. We join you from a beautiful Brands Hatch circuit in Kent, and it's a 2.4 mile circuit, but I'm pretty sure everyone watching this knows more than enough about Brands Hatch. It's one of the more famous circuits in the UK and also in the world. My name is Dane Baird, and I'm joined in the commentary box today by Alessandro Dalladone and Marco Barbanera on the cameras and controlling the SDK gaming overlay that you see on your screens. Alessandro, how's it going?
I'm doing great, thank you, Dane. Ready for this Saturday evening action here on Apex Racing TV. We are getting ready here with people starting their first flying lap in qualifying, like Jose Garcias in the 99 we're seeing now.
Yeah, and we've got some good racing up ahead, I'm sure. Half an hour race after this 15-minute qualifying session. I believe the drivers are limited to a certain number of laps, at least if anything was to go back from yesterday.
It should be 4 laps in 15 minutes.
So 4 laps, we're not going to reach the end of the 15 minutes, I don't think. Let's have a look on board some of the drivers. This is Sam Coitert with a very respectable finish yesterday evening at a Circuit of the Americas. He's the karting driver in the series at number 8 Allied Racing Esports car. You can see on the top of the screen now the different colors on the timing tower, which will come up in just a moment's time when drivers start finishing their laps. If they have a grey position, it means they're in Formula 4. If it's red, for FIA World F3. If it's in blue, it's a country's national F3 series, and black is karting. But unless it's changed from yesterday, there's only one karting driver.
Indeed, it's Sam Coitert from the Netherlands, who has been on our channels a lot in the last week. He is the only not F3, F4 driver, single-seater driver in the field for being the double champion of the sim racing kart. Here we see Francesco Pizzi now, the Italian F4 and ADAC F4 driver, going one of the toughest sections of the track. These super fast right-handers are very, very complicated to get, and as you can see here, Pizzi makes the usual mistake coming down from that blind right-hander. It's so difficult then to put a fast lap together.
Yes, it is, especially with the fact that there's no tarmac runoff to even think about in Brands Hatch. Most of the circuits, especially COTA, as we were at yesterday, they've got quite a bit of tarmac runoff for you to, if you make a mistake, try and not lose too much time. But at Brands Hatch, it's the grass, and with the new tire model version 7 tires on these cars, not only do they have to worry about warming up the tires, but if they get on the grass, that car is heading in a straight line. It really does not like to turn on these slick tires. Oh, and we've got a car with very little of it left, actually, as we can maybe see a replay of what happened to him.
The Italian driver probably clipped the grass. Yes.
Oh, that's a big impact. Looks like he actually might have, the car unsettled when it hit the start of the grass after that bit of alternative curbing on the outside. Here's a driver, looks like he might be out of fuel. I'm not too sure what's going on here in the Red Bull livery.
He might just trying to warm up his tires. You know, there are some drivers that instead of weaving around, they are just smashing the brake while accelerating to get more temperature in the tires. Who knows? It's gonna be interesting. Maybe we can ask him after the race if he jumps in for the post-race interviews. Alex Inesov here, starting his third flying lap. Let's see if it was a banker lap just to score a lap time, and now he's starting to push down the hill and on the hairpin now.
Yeah, and we've got the top 8 drivers separated by under a second in qualifying so far. 6 minutes gone. Sam Coitert down in 9th position. Now we've got the top 11 places as more drivers are setting some competitive lap times. They've got their tyres warmed up. and they're starting to go. This is Victor Anderson in the number 20 car. He didn't improve on his last lap, but he's going to have one or two more opportunities. Here's a man with a livery that we all love. This is Carter Williams, and it's a beautiful gold-plated F3 car. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful camera work by Marco Barbanera there, giving us a lovely slow-mo shot of him coming through the Drury's hairpin. He's going to take all of the curb on the outside, and I think we might have lost connection from him for a moment. Here is Pierre-Louis Chauvet, the French driver, who I believe is in British F3, and he has just set a new fastest lap in qualifying, increasing his advantage at the provisional pole position with a 1 minute 16.4. It's a very fast lap, and oh, who was that? That was Franco Colapinto, almost beating the French driver, and he's about a tenth off the pace. Some of our drivers retiring to the pit lane. I think they might have finished all of their laps. It's not the longest lap here, and I think we're going to see our final grid in a few moments' time. Here's Dennis Hauger, yesterday's race winner at the Circuit of the Americas. Last lap overtake for the win from Dennis. So he's going to be looking to improve on his current qualifying position of 5th. That's where he started yesterday, managing to move up into 1st by the end of the race. Here's another man that we are looking at. He looks like he's still finishing his last lap maybe. And who's this?
Hauger. Horsten. Sorry, let's check the replay. And he clipped the grass. Solid mistake. The car maybe was still okay, but decided to reset and go back for another outlap. He still has to do a few laps, so he will definitely try again. Meantime, we see here Hauger in the 6th car trying to improve his lap time, but I'm afraid it was definitely much slower.
Oh no, it wasn't.
Not really. Big surprise.
Pole position. Our timing screens took a little bit of time to update there, but he goes on to pole position by 0.02 of a second. Wow, that's a fantastic lap. A 1 minute 16.372.
Our scoring system just tricked us for a little and gave us Hauger in pole position. Very solid qualifying for the Norwegian driver, who is always up front, and that's key in these shorter races, Dane, because obviously there are a lot of incidents, and starting up front is for sure helping a lot in the chase for the championship.
Definitely, he is our championship leader currently. I'll try and get a read through of the points for you in just a moment. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Dennis Hauger, the Norwegian driver, with 138 points. Elise Depot, who isn't with us in today's meeting, 126 points. That's 12-point gap. Then Colombo, and Hauger sets another fastest lap. Wow. He really has done well in this qualifying session. He retires to the pit lane. That's him done for today. 1 minute 16.1. That's great from him. Colombo, who is currently sitting in 3rd on the grid with a 38-point deficit between him and Hauger. So Hauger's got a good lead after 4 rounds. The points system is as follows: 50 points for a win, 48 for 2nd, 38 for 3rd, and then it goes down by 4 until 20 points for P8. Then it goes down by 2 until all the way to P19, where they'll score 2 points, and P20 scores 1 point. So there are points for the top 20 drivers. So even if the race doesn't go as planned at the start, there is still a way to redeem yourself and just get a couple more points. Last of our drivers setting lap times now, and I think soon we'll be able to finish this qualifying session, head to the half-an-hour race.
Yeah, Bart Horsten is still finishing his lap. Meantime, we see here Hugo De Witt, the Belgian Formula Renault Eurocup driver in the 7 car who has still to do lap 2, 3 and 4 is finishing now his second fast lap, so he will be for sure trying to improve his position. He's the only driver so far who hasn't scored a lap yet, but now he scores a very slow lap, probably just trying to get the feel in the car and pushing the last 2 laps where obviously the tires are up to temperature. Let's see if he made a small mistake here. This is Bruno Carneiro in the 21 car, the Brazilian driver in the Asia Formula Renault, clipping the grass.
Oh, and into the wall.
It's so easy. It's a different ambience here at Branzas compared to the wide runoff areas at Kota, so drivers will have to get used to it for sure.
Yeah, definitely the grass and gravel runoff. No tarmac runoff on the circuit. So it really does punish mistakes massively. You run a little bit wide and get some wheels on that grass, your car is going to run away from you. You'll lose a lot of the control that you might have already had. Let's have a look at some of the drivers. I think this is Hugo de Wilde. De Wilde in the number 7 car. He's currently sitting down in 26th, then he stops. Oh.
I
Is he going
didn't
to do
want to
some fresh
crash.
starts, maybe?
I guess he didn't want to cross the line to get still a flying lap, maybe. He wanted probably to restart. Let's see if he will come out of the pits to score another lap, or he didn't just wanted to stop and be done with qualifying.
That is a very weird one. Here's Alexei Nisov, the Russian driver in SMP F4. And he is currently in 25th position, 10 seconds down. Oh, and he's right into the barrier. That's a massive impact. Look at the damage caused to that car.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
wow.
trying to get some laps in for practice. He will be very careful at the start, I bet. Oh yeah, he just wanted to park the car. You've seen there the wheel pointing on the right side, or he lost the car. We'll see.
He didn't lose the car. Yeah, you're right. He just plowed it into the barrier. I think he just wanted to show everyone at home a little bit of the new damage model. Let us know in the YouTube chat who your favorite is for the race. We've got about a minute left of qualifying. So let us know who your favorite for the race win is here today.
Few race start practices for Hugo de Wilde. It's not that easy to get this car started, to be fair. In official races you see all kinds of starts, but this seems to be very, very clean. It's very easy to slide the rear tires and just get barely moving. So you don't want to do that if you are in the midfield, because especially on this track, the track is very narrow. There is not a lot of place to go if the car in front is not moving correctly from its starting stall.
Definitely, and we've got a couple of people in the YouTube chat letting us know who their favorite is for this race, and so far 2 people have told us, and they've both gone for Dennis Hauger, who is on pole position, so I can understand why that is. Go with Dennis the Menace, says Mikael, and that's a fantastic name for him. He was all very menacing yesterday at Circuit of the Americas. Qualifying is over, and we've got some results for you. Dennis Hager on pole position, then Pierre-Louis Chauvet in second position, the top regional F3 driver on the grid. Then Franco Colapinto, Callum Williams, Quinlan Lull, Victor Anderson, Gregor Saucy. We loved a bit of sauce in yesterday's race. Hopefully we get some more today. You've got Kai Askey, Carter Williams, Josh Mason, Sam Coitert, Isaac Blomqvist. Then we've got Victor Martins. After a second place finish yesterday, he's down in 13th. Javier Jovas. We've got Bart Horston, Jose Garfiest. And then we've got Lapalinen, Simon Sykes, Hunter Yini, Bruno Canero, Oliver Gotti. Then we've got Sam Paley, Joey Alders, Francesco Pizzi. Then we've got Nisov and Ugo de Vilde down in 26th position. The cars are lining up on the grid. And I believe they're only waiting for 2 of them that are yet to join the grid. They've got about 50 seconds left to do so.
They might be knowing the trick of jumping in as late as possible to keep their tires warmer, because as you are sitting, obviously the tires are going down with temperature. So joining at the last few seconds of the starting procedure will give you a better grip at the start. That's what I understood from other drivers racing competitively in this car.
And there
We will
he
see.
goes. He pops in at the back, and that was the only driver we were waiting for in the number 50 car. Let's focus on Dennis Hauger for the start. The 5 red lights are on, and we go green at Brands Hatch, instantly going for the preferable outside line. Does Dennis Hauger, covering off from Colombo, goes around the outside of Chevette, but Colombo is now up into 2nd position. Chevette still looking around the outside as they come into the Druids hairpin for the first time. We've got cars off already. That looks like who is that? That's Lowell and Anderson off at Druids, and another driver spinning. We'll have to find out who that was. Saucy's off as well. There's a big wreck into turn 3 for the first time. The crowd are watching on, and that's a big parking lot. Like you said, there's loads of drivers off from that one. A lot of them missing rear wings as well. That's not what you want here, but Dennis Hauger still leading the race. He's got a substantial gap already to Colombo, his main championship rival at the moment. In 2nd place behind as they come through this tricky forest section for the first time. Let's see if anyone makes a mistake and touches the grass. Look how close they're getting. In fact, it was, who is that in 7th position on the time towers? Oh, there's a big wreck.
Yeah, nothing he could do that. He lost the car, the 43 car lost the rear on the grass, and obviously the guys behind him couldn't do anything to avoid him. So rather unfortunate, but remember there is a spare car reset available to all drivers, so they will be back trying to get as many points as possible.
Let's try and get a replay of what happened at the start of the race. We've got drivers. Oh, there's another incident back there involving the 12 car, and that's the one that we want to see. That was involving 3 cars, if my eyes do not deceive me.
Yeah, Colapinto, Callum Williams for sure were involved.
Oh, another spin. Loads of drivers getting caught out. Here it is. Yep, that's, oh, Colapinto losing it, and then I'm not sure who that was. It might have been
Williams, yes.
Yeah, Callum Williams right into the back of him. Nothing they could do. And that is really unfortunate for him. Sam Coitert up into 3rd though.
Yeah, for sure. Quitter, clean start. We've seen him racing in plenty of events on Apex. For sure, one of the most consistent drivers I've seen in this car in the last few weeks. So we'll obviously keep an eye on him, because even though the gaps are very big up front now, because Hauger is checking out with Chauvet, and Kuitert is 4 seconds behind them. So on this tiny track, meantime we see here already some drivers going back to the pit to get a new front wing, I bet, here for Kayaski.
Yeah.
We might see also another race in the race, the race out of pit road after the reset, because if people do not join pit road from the track, they can press their S button and go back to pit road with a towing. And obviously we will see plenty of drivers coming out at the same time if they were involved in the same wreck.
Here's the battle.
Another car.
Who's that? That looks like it might have been a lap driver there. I don't think that was anyone for position. That is Callum Williams. Oh, it's Canero. Bruno Canero just spinning it onto the Indy section of the circuit. That's not where he wants to go. He wants to turn left there, not right. And unfortunate for him, he is running down in 20th position, a lap down already. Let's look at a replay of Franco Colapinto as he comes into Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, and he just pulls. Yep, he just pulls over, and I think he's decided to leave the race. Understandable. He is running 2 laps down at that point. Dennis Hauger setting the fastest lap of the race on the 3rd attempt again. The FIA Formula 3 driver all over the grass there on the entry. That's very risky from him. Here's Carter Williams. He's got a couple cars ahead of him, being Lepaninen and Bart Horston in 8th position. You can see the gap on the left-hand side, how much it's increased between drivers with all the wrecks that have been happening and drivers having to avoid them. As Goethe enters the pit lane in 22nd position. Oliver Goethe, the Danish F4 driver, and he is parking that one up. He's got some damage to the right front wing, and he just got that fixed. So he's taken his fast repair, and he'll be on his way. There's Quinlan Lull in that green and white liveried F3 car. He looks like he's towing.
Yeah, he might have been fixing his damage. Obviously, you only get one trip to pit road, and then if you have any damage, you have to repair it. So, will be interesting to see. Sam Kuitert in the 28 Sim Racing Karting Champion, trying to check out from Victor Martins, the Formula Renault Euro Cup driver. You can see here how difficult it is to get the apex of this corner and be very consistent and steady with the wheel and the throttle inputs, because it's very complicated to keep the flow into these fast corners, and also different techniques, different trajectories between the drivers. So this track, there's a reason why we keep coming on these tracks, Dane, because it's one of the most challenging tracks I've ever been driven. I have driven here on iRacing.
A lot of the British circuits are like that. If you get past Silverstone, they're all narrow, they all have grass runoff, and they're all very punishing if you get it wrong, but they're also a joy to drive. Brands Hatch is like a roller coaster with all the undulation in these corners. A lot of blind crests as well. You can see just how much, maybe not from these TV cameras, but if we had to go on board from the driver's eye, you'd definitely see how much the track curves. Here is a great view on the nose cone of the car. You can see it's super hard downhill and then right up in towards Druid's hairpin. That uphill allows you to brake much later than you'd expect. Sam goes for the late apex and he actually locked up a little bit there. But you can see it's all downhill into here. This makes this a very tricky braking zone. Downhill, you've got to brake much earlier than it might seem. And then up the hill through, I believe this is Stirling. And up the hill, and then we're going to go back down the hill underneath the bridge. It gets pretty steep down here and towards the braking zone. You can carry a lot of speed through this corner. It's a little bit of banking as well, just to make things a bit easier. Then a flat right-hander straight down into another hill, and then up over the crest. This is a blind crest corner, this one. Take all the curb, don't hit the grass on the outside. Right on board with Victor Martins now. And then more banking on this corner, the penultimate corner. And down towards the final one, which is again uphill and over the crest. It's also blind. You never really know where the outside grass is. You just have to trust your memory. And drivers normally take the right-hand side of that main straight because it is slightly advantageous in the run into the first corner. Let's have a look at a replay of Jose Garfias in the 99 car, the F4 driver. And he's hit the grass. Oh, and he spun it around. Is he going to bend it? Yes, he is. That's a big shunt into the inside wall. And yet more of the new damage model being shown to us, Alessandro.
Yeah, Garfias joining Colapinto, Lol, Ilovera, Sykes and Google in our DNF for today's race. I doubt they will be joining the race any sooner. Bart Orsten now diving to the inside of Joy Alders, getting P7 with his beautiful pass. As we can see here now coming down the straight before the double right-handers in this beautiful camera shot. The driver from the Netherlands trying to keep the car in one piece, making sure he gets a clear run without any mistake, which is in this championship pay off really well, because we've seen a lot of mistakes, a lot of accidents between also top caliber drivers, and that's why Dennis Auger is still in the lead of this race and mostly of the championship.
It looks like we're trying to get a replay of
The
Dennis
start, yeah.
Auger.
Pretty clean start here in turn one, but then obviously as the track is narrowing, is a bit more complicated to keep the cars in one piece. As we can see here, LOL and all kind of shenanigans in the opening few corners of this motor event. Not much you can do when you are 2 wide, 3 wides on this track. Everybody obviously is fighting for position as hard as they can. It's a short race, so you always give everything you've got. Oh, here, Bart Orsten touching wheels with Isaac Blomqvist, I think might have. Let's see if we can catch a replay of that, if we can, because I feel the car that went totally out, Hunter Heaney in the 12 car, the US driver, is still on track, but obviously lost plenty of time in this little contact. Very fortunate.
Yeah, he is. That
Not
could
a
have
major
easily
risk.
sent him straight into the wall, that contact. I think
We
the
lost
angle that
Blomqvist.
he got kicked onto the grass with really helped him out there. The car kind of jumped across rather than swerving over. Oh, and here's Isaac Blomqvist. Something happened involving him. It looks like he's exiting the pits. He just wants to let some drivers by, maybe. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like he's just getting out of everyone's way.
Just stopped.
And stops and looks like he's back into the pits again. So not too sure what happened there. Maybe he didn't put enough fuel in the car. But
I have no idea. I can only say this has been a attrition race for sure.
meanwhile, the gap at the front of the field, Bart Horston goes off track. Must have just been cutting that corner a little bit. Hasn't cost him any time. Here's Joey Alders with a bit of a mission for him. That is Heaney just ahead of him. But he's also got Lapanilan just behind in 9th position and Carter Williams just behind him.
Carter Williams trying to make up some position. He started in P9, so he will be definitely trying to make his best to catch back to Joey Alders. They are very close in this mid pack from Austin P6 to Carter Williams. They are all very close, so anything can happen. We have still 18 minutes of this race, so for sure we're gonna have a lot of fights still. And let's see if Alders will be able to fend off any attack by Konsta Lappalainen, the young Finland driver, who is trying his best, but obviously not a lot of passing chances, Dane.
Yeah, and he's gone a bit wide and his rear wheel just touched the grass, and that's a fantastic save from him. Full opposite lock there. Wow, that's incredible. Carter Williams blinking a little bit ahead of him. Might put him off slightly, but a massive save from the young Finnish driver. Here he's riding on board with Carter Williams, with the Palanen behind him in that beautiful looking red livery F3 car. Coming down through Paddock Hill Bend and up towards Druids Hairpin. It would be a lot easier to overtake here if it wasn't uphill, because the braking zone is pretty short. It's only about 50 meters up to Druids Hairpin. It's a pretty slow corner as well. There's Sam Koiter. And it looks like he's got Victor Martins for company right behind him, just about half a tenth in that one, as they come through the forest section. Let's see what happens between these two. I think Victor Martins was a fair way behind. I think he might have caught up quite a bit of a gap in the last few laps, and Marco on cue. They set identical lap times last lap on lap 10. Let's see what the gap changed this lap as they both come to cross the line. It does look like Martins has closed the gap a little bit in the last few laps, and in lap 11 it looks like he has latched onto the back of him by 2/10 of a second. He's definitely building up the gap, breaking down that gap between himself and Sam for that final podium position.
Yeah, paces are very similar. Martins for sure is getting a little help with Lipstream, but still they are always running the same lap times. Meantime, in the lead, Dennis Auger is checking out, even though in the last lap he wasn't very fast. He managed to score the fastest lap on lap 10, so 16:208, bringing the gap even above 7 seconds. But Chauvet is for sure giving his best, trying to keep up with him. But obviously now for Chauvet is much more important to look behind and make sure some quitter doesn't catch him.
Yeah, definitely. He is running in a solid second position. There's Dennis Hauger, our race leader, setting some pretty good laps over the past few laps. You can see how the gap is increasing between himself and Chauvet in second position. He takes a lot of grass on the entry into turn 3. It really surprises me because that is one way to spin the car around. Let's have a look further back down the field. We've got Sam Paley, and has something happened to him as we try and get to a replay. Is he coming through the forest section? He did touch the grass a little bit on entry there. It's all about the grass at Brands Hatch, and he's got all over the grass. Oh, has he kept it out of the wall? Don't think he
barely
has.
did. I think he barely did. The sand there might have helped him a little bit. And as the driver, I think Francesco Pizzi was coming by, also Pizzi went a bit wide. Let's see from this camera view.
Oh, all over the grass, and that wall is very close, but he's just managed to hold his brakes, and definitely the gravel trap did help him there. Going sideways definitely helped him through the gravel trap. Meanwhile, Sam Cotet and Victor Martins, the gap is pretty much the same as where we left them off. As they come around Paddock Hill Bend, you can use all of that AstroTurf on the outside, but don't touch the gravel. That'll drag you out and lose a lot of time for you. Just ahead of them is Chauvet. You can see how the gap is closed between them. And Sam seems to have the advantage through this first sector. He's only gained about a tenth and a bit over Martins, but Martins seems to excel in the final sector. That's where he gains most of his time to the young Dutchman in third position just ahead of him. Meanwhile, Dennis Hauger has checked out of this race 7 seconds ahead.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it clean, and maybe now he's backing up just a tiny bit, making sure he doesn't run off wide in any corner, which is always very difficult. But with a 7-second lead, for sure he will be trying to keep his pace very consistent and always have a look at the times. No, doesn't seem like so, because 1:16.108 is the best lap of the race. Yeah, they feel some too wide action here between Alders and Yanni, and Williams try to get P8 now.
Oh, big contact.
Yeah.
Massive contact between those two. Looks like quite a bit of netcode in that one as well, unfortunately, but Alder's defending hard. He goes for the inside move, doesn't make it work, and you can see he defends hard to the left-hand side, and then maybe doesn't give as much room as he could have. He could have easily given a bit more to the outside there. And it looks like that car might have been crabbing just a little bit as well.
Nothing good there, to be fair. It's a bit unfortunate. That's difference between real life racing and sim racing. We have
Oh, the whole
different.
thing is covered by the trees.
Yeah, we might need some help from some maintenance guy here to cut some trees for next time. We will keep an eye on that.
Marco laughing away in the production box as the
Auger,
trees. Oh, Hauger!
where is he?
Hauger's dead. What happened to him? As he drops down the order, has there been contact between him and a lap driver? It seems to be a connection issue for him. How unfortunate. And he is out of the race as Chevet takes the provisional lead. This means that Coitert and Martins could potentially be fighting for the lead of this race in a few laps' time. 10 minutes left to go at Brands Hatch.
Definitely, this is gonna spice things up because now we have a very good battle for P1, but that's what we didn't want to see because obviously Auger was putting a heck of a performance today, and now he will be probably joining back the serve if he can and try to get still some points for the championship.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity for Colapinto as well, but he's out of the race. It's really unfortunate. The top 3 drivers in the championship standings all out of the race. That is really unprecedented from these, and like you said, Sam Coitert gonna gain a lot of points in this one if he can just keep it clean. Oh, big incident there. That turned Yini off, and I think he collided with Joey Alders and maybe Carter Williams off as well. Trying to go side by side through the forest section. Let's get a replay of what happened there. That's not it. Let's see if we can get... There it is. Carter Williams looking to go up the inside. That's never going to work. Oh, and he lost it even before.
Yeah, it went a bit wide.
Let's try and get it on board.
There's some connection issues. Seems like we're side by side, and unfortunately, two drivers.
This is what we want to see. On board, Hunter Yini goes a bit wide. Let's see, why does he spin out? Yeah, that was netcode. That was more netcode between these drivers. Between the Aussie, no, not the Aussie, Callan Williams. Yeah. No, they're both American. So
it's very confusing. We have two drivers with almost the same name, but Carter Williams is from the USA, and Callum Williams is from Down Under. But we were talking about
the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, indeed.
Only just, it's only about 16 thousandths of a second faster than Hauger's previous best lap time. Hauger's dropped down to 17th with those connection issues, 2 laps down now. He has no chance of regaining any of that if he managed to rejoin the session. Very unfortunate for the young Norwegian driver, but it's allowed Victor Martins to look like he's going to take his second podium position in as many days. And we've got Chevet currently leading the race only by about a second to Sam Coitert, and then Martins 9/10 down the road. So these are the top 3 drivers you see on your screen now riding on board with Martins, and it's Sam just ahead, and then Pierre-Louis Chevet in first position. You can see how much he closes the gap in this final sector though. Oh, we've got some moves happening here. That's Sam Paley trying to get past the Aussie Callan Williams.
Yeah, also plenty of fights here in the end of the top 10 for the closing spot of the top 10. See the replay here with Callan Williams in the 54. I bet he sent it here in the hairpin.
Beautiful send.
Yeah, and also plenty of space given by the 7.3 of Paley, but this is what you don't expect exiting the hairpin. A lot of oversteer exiting. We see here Pierre-Louis Chevet still not clear of Sam Coitert, which is slowly, lap by lap, closing the gap. a very tiny bit, but every lap, so it's gonna be interesting. I also want to mention, because we didn't see him for almost all race long, Alex Ainesov starting almost dead last in the last row. The Russian driver back to P4 with a incredible 21 position gain and a super clean race, has managed almost to knock on the top 3.
21 positions gained for the Russian 33 driver. But Coitert, every time he closes a little bit up to Chevet, he's putting him under a bit more pressure. And that just increases the likelihood of him making a bit of a mistake. Sam also under pressure from Victor Martins just behind. The gap between the top 3 is closing up a lot. Kapalainen, Lapalainen even, in the number 10 car and 6 has just gone off the circuit. And he has now got Joey Alders in 7th.
In time, Coitert always in between the two French drivers. Same gap between Chauvet and Kuiten and Martins. Meantime, you see here a big traffic jam.
Oh, it's Williams and Williams behind Francesco Pizzi. Callan Williams in the white car, Carter Williams in the gold car, and who's that joining the battle? Is that Paley? No, it's not. That's a lap driver getting into the equation there. Let's see if we can get a replay of what's happened to Pierre-Louis Chevet. Has he gone off the circuit?
Maybe a tiny bit wide. Let's see.
Ooh, he's done well to keep that going in a straight line. I've seen a lot of our drivers just putting a couple tires on the grass, and that's been their race over. So he's done well to do that. Oh, another one. Almost hitting the grass. That's Francesco Pizzi. He's got Adam Paley just behind him. See what happened to him. This is Callan Williams just behind him, trying to go around the outside. Not too sure how this has ended up with Pizzi on the outside wall. Oh,
a very aggressive move by Williams. He cut across the nose of the Italian driver, and both had some issues, and obviously now
pits.
carrying some damage out of that.
And yeah, Callan Williams has just pitted, presumably to take his new front wing. What always bugs me on this car whenever I see it is the air intake on the side of the car. It blocks the view from the mirror. So if you look at the right hand side mirror, it's where you'd expect, but the left hand side mirror is quite a bit higher, which is very odd to look at once you notice it. And now that I've said it, no one will be able to look at the car the same again, I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't. Very good to point it out. I never seen it, even though I'm used to drive this car a lot. So
things you only see in VR.
meantime, another good fight between the 73 of Paley and the Italian F4 driver Francesco Pizzi. Still going at it.
Yeah, Francesco Pizzi still defending from Paley, and looks like Paley's just got through. No, Pizzi's just got through. My bad. Italian F4 and ADEC F4, which is the German Formula 4 series. Oh, and is that going to be a punt? A big punt. Oh, there's a big shunt as well. Who's that? That was... Who was that? Maybe a lapped car that...
Yeah, lap car.
Just involved in that one as well. Oh, look at this. The lead.
To go around. Yeah, we don't want to miss any action here up front with the 3 drivers getting closer and closer. So 2 laps to go. Ooh, very slow moving car.
Maybe even 3 laps if they're quick enough. Martin sets the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:16.077 seconds. He's going to close up onto the back of them for the last lap, I think. Oh, and once again, Chevet on the grass on the exit of the Druid's hairpin. He's done so well to keep that out of the wall, but that's allowed Sam Coitert to get a better exit after turn 3. Is he going to try and make the move around the outside as they come onto the GP circuit? No, he's going to get the switch back. He's going to go to the left-hand side. try and get in the draft.
Oh,
Gervais, the French driver, he's gone on the grass. Bit of contact between them as well. You can see the draft working wonders for him. Now Gervais goes to the inside, defending hard. Coita just behind. These two battling has allowed Martins to close right onto the back of this one. This big train. No overtaking opportunities until the next hard braking zone, which is going to be just after this corner. Who gets the better exit? There's a couple of lap drivers ahead having their own battle. Let's see if that plays into any of the equation. And they're battling each other side by side. It's going to slow everyone up massively. Oh, whose car is that?
Haley and Aski maybe. They should.
Yeah, it could. No, yeah, definitely could be. Oh, and they're very slow. There's also got a lot of damage to that car in front. Could be Paley. I think you're right, but these drivers all knows to gearbox for the lead of this race, as it is the white flag lap. Marco, why don't you say
Yes,
white
it should
flag?
be. Very nice battle. Let's see now, because this exit after this long left-hander is gonna be key. Let's see if Kuiter gets a nice jump, but he's too far in my opinion to even try to get close to Chauvet.
I'm not sure. The draft is pretty powerful and they're going down the hill as well. It's going to give them both a lovely speed advantage. He closes up so close to him. He's going to have to make the lunge into that last left-hander of the circuit. They're all right-hand corners on this circuit. There's only 3 left-handers on the entire circuit at Brands Hatch. Oh, and it's a good exit from Sam Coitert. He's not going to make the dive into the penultimate corner. Last chance. Oh, and Martins has just gone off as well. He's out of the equation. Sam Coitert's going to have to try and get a good exit. Checker flag waves, and it's going to be Pierre-Louis Chauvet just about taking the victory by barely any margin at all. Victor Martins takes 3rd position, and here is Alexei Nisov. 21 positions gained for him in 4th position at the end.
All drivers coming now towards the end of these top 10 are drivers who had a lot of position gained during the race. Orsten finished 5th, Lappalainen is going to cross the line in a few seconds. Meantime, we see here Carter Williams, the American driver, still with a slight chance to fight for P8, but it should be too far. Let's see from this replay what happened between Anderson and Williams for this position 8 fight coming down the first corner of the last lap. Very clean pass, and obviously now the Swedish driver checking out and going to take the 8th position in this beautiful round at Brands Hatch. Dane, I guess everybody has crossed the start-finish line. Pierre-Louis Chauvet in the 3 car is our winner.
It was a very good drive from Chauvet, being able to take advantage of the unfortunate errors, or sorry, disconnection from Dennis Hauger, who probably would have won this race if it wasn't for that. But Pierre-Louis Chauvet is your race winner by just 2/10 to Sam Coitert. He is now going to possibly take the championship lead. Victor Martins in 3rd position with Alexei Nisov in 4th, 21 positions gained for him. Good race in his books. Bart Horston in 5th position, Konsta Lappalainen in 6th, Joey Alders in 7th, Victor Anderson in 8th position, the Swedish F4 US driver. And we've got Carter Williams in his beautiful gold livery. Kayaski, Gregor Sorsi, didn't see too much of him, unfortunately. Bruno Canero in 12th position. And we've got Callan Williams, the Aussie, in 13th. Hunter Yini in 14th. Sam Paley in 15th. Francesco Pizzi in 16th. Got Josh Mason 3 laps down in 17th. Oliver Gotha, the Danish F4 Spain driver, in 18th position. Then the unfortunate list of drivers: Dennis Hauger with the disconnection halfway through the race in 19th, Isaac Blomqvist 17 laps down in 20th, and then the drivers on the first few laps, we've got Jose Garfias in 21st, Franco Colapinto in 22nd, And then we've got Javier Lloveras and Quinlan Lowell, Simon Sykes, and Hugo de Vilde. Those last two drivers not making it past the first lap. So, Alessandro, I think we're going to try and get some drivers in for interviews. We're going to have to wait a few moments' time for them to start filing in. I'll wait about a minute or so while you give me your thoughts on the race to see if we can get the race leader in here.
Yeah, for sure. I really like the racing here. Unfortunately, we had a little too much attrition in today's event, but nevertheless, it was a very beautiful final few laps. I'm really sorry for our Norwegian guy Auger losing connection today, because it would have been a textbook race for him. The pace was really good, no mistakes for the first half of the race, and obviously this is gonna cost him big time for the championship, because some quitter with the second place, unfortunately for him, doesn't get to the first place on the standings, but he's gonna be very close, just a few points behind Hauger. So for sure, the young kart driver, the only non-open wheeler driver in this field, is gonna be happy about this, and I bet he will come to talk with us very soon.
Definitely. We've got some drivers here for an interview. I don't know if we're going to get any more. That I'm going to start off with third place man Victor Martins. If I'm going to get him moved up into the commentary box, there he is. Victor Martins, welcome to the commentary box for the second time in 2 days.
Yeah, hello, thank you. Yeah, it has been a good race for me. Actually, I did a bad qualifying because I told you yesterday I'm going to train, but actually I did no lap for the practice because I have been a bit busy. But yeah, again, some good fun. Just yeah, bad qualifying. So I was starting P13, and then I tried to stay calm and just avoid all the crash. And that's P3, so double podium in 2 days. So that's good for the championship.
Yeah, definitely. You've got 2 podiums in 2 days. It's pretty impressive for you. And
Yeah,
we'll see about the first lap of the race. Incidents everywhere. How did you manage to get through all of that in one piece?
I actually don't know. I was just like in my head, I'm gonna stay on the track without any damage, and yeah, I actually managed really well because I had I tagged for drivers at turn two, so I gained quite a lot of places because some guys spun, and then at turn three, the two guys which were just beside me just crashed, and then I had to just brake and avoid them, and I think I nearly touched them, or I don't know, maybe I touched them because in the race I was actually missing a bit of a straight line, so I don't know, but anyway, good point is that I didn't crash, so yeah, again a double podium. So let's continue like this, and the championship will go well.
Absolutely. So the next round is on Monday. That is round 6 at Phillip Island. Do you have any experience driving there?
No, no, but now I think I will need to train because I saw that in qualifying it was not really good to not train, and yeah, I will discover the track uh, tomorrow day before the race, but yeah, I'm looking forward to race again.
Yeah, you've got 2 days to practice this time, so no excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so in the championship, then that's definitely going to help you out quite a lot. You started this round in 10th, but a lot of
Yeah,
drivers ahead of you didn't race or didn't finish today. So that should
exactly.
help you out quite a bit in the championship. I'm sure you're going to gain a couple of places there.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure as well.
yeah, well, thank you for joining us in the commentary box for an
Thanks
interview.
to
Before we
you.
let you go, is there anyone you want to shout out?
No. Again, the same. To thanks to all my sponsors I have on the car, and again, thanks to the organizers, Formula Driver Challenge, and to you because it's really good to broadcast this kind of races for our fans, and yeah, good to have still the pressure, a lot of focus as well during the race. So it's good for when we will come back on the real track.
Well, that's great to hear. Thank you very much, Victor Martins,
Thank
your
you.
third place driver.
Bye.
Bye bye. Alessandro, I think up next you've got fourth place Alexei Nisov.
Yeah, let's see if we can bring him up here. Alexei, our biggest mover of today's race. Not a very good qualifying, but you did a heck of a job recovering through the wrecks at the start and keeping the car in one piece for all 30 minutes. Good job, man.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely quality was really bad, but first lap was just tricky. And then when I saw that I have pretty good position and pretty much space in front and from the back, I just decided to go in save mode, not to push very hard to not do a mistake, and so just keep the car to the finish.
We've seen plenty of drivers making mistakes, not only in the opening laps, but throughout all the 30 minutes, especially in the second section of the track, where the longer right-handers. How did you find the pace and also the consistency for today's event in that section? Because it's very, very tricky.
To be honest, I like such tracks. So and Ben's Hedge is one of my favorites, and so it wasn't hard to find the pace. I know this track really well, so I could do a little bit faster, but there was no use for it, and so I just keep to the finish.
Yeah, for sure. Safe is fast. We've seen in all championship that who manages to keep the car clean is in the end always up front. This is obviously also a very good point scoring race for you, because you are gonna jump a lot of people in the championship.
And definitely, I think I'll jump into the top 5, which is really exciting.
Anybody you want to thank before letting you go, Alexei?
I don't think so.
Well, uh, obviously we are looking forward for the next round, and hopefully we see you back in the booth with another very good top 5 next time.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
That was Alexei Nazov. Dane, do we have time for another driver?
No, we do not. I don't think we have any more. So that is it for Formula Drivers Challenge round number 5 from Brands Hatch. Sandra, do you have any closing statements?
Well, that was a very exciting race. Time flies in these 30-minute races. I'm definitely looking forward for Phillip Island, a track we are not used to see a lot on iRacing in the official races. We broadcast here on Race Racing. So definitely it's going to be an interesting venue, and we'll see a lot of passes and fights. Dane?
Yeah, it was a very entertaining race, as was yesterday at Kota. I'm looking forward to watching the next round at Phillip Island. I won't be on the commentary team, but I think you will, Alessandro. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to watching that one. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. But from now, everyone at Apex Racing TV and the Formula Drivers Challenge, from myself and from Alessandro and Marco Barbanera, we wish you a good night and happy racing.